Howdy peeps, get that out of shot. I had this turn up, was it yesterday, the day before, or was it yesterday? Might have been yesterday. Posted just the pictures of what had turned up on the ISM Facebook page, and someone, forgive me I can't remember your name, asked me if I would be so kind as to do a quick review of it. So here we are. Hopefully, well, this will be shorter than the Dana review I did yesterday, because it's a much smaller model with a lot fewer parts. Anyway, so what we got? Hobbyboss 172 SU47 Berkut, or Bearcat I guess. Now, it may only be 172, but it's still 34 centimetres long and 23 centimetres wide, so it's a big old lump. Now let's have a look at the box. Berkut, or Golden Eagle. Oh, yeah, we might be able to wangle that into a group build somewhere. It's a experimental test bed plane. We should get all that in shot. We have a couple of pics of a built up version, which looks very nice, and the markings. And it's a 2011 kit. Bit of guff about the plane, although I'm not sure how accurate that will actually be, because Russian experimental, do they really think they're gonna tell us what it'll do? Kit number is 80211. Anyway, let's have a look, see what we get inside this little box, shall we? Again, I got this from Amazon. It wasn't expensive, I think it was £12 or £13, which it's not bad for a 172. Okay, you know, there's not a lot to it, but it's quite sizable. Get our usual, as we're getting used to with Trumpeter and Hobbyboss, colour call out and decal, Mr. Hobby VIO, Model Master Tamiya Humble. Complete ranges for all of them. Sorry about my phone. Although it's black, white and burnt iron, so yeah. I think every paint manufacturer does those colours. The instructions, which are, I want to say not typical, but they are and they aren't. Let's flip that over, get rid of the glare. So we've got the usual picture, bump about what you're doing, same thing, the legend, all that kind of guff, and straight into construction. Now this is a gatefold, but as you can see, it's not necessarily divided into steps, as there's so little to it. Pointy brush, guessing we'd start out with the cockpit. It's fairly Spartan. It's a one-piece seat, one-piece pit, and a little control yoke. Again, 172, so you don't really see much. A couple of little extra bits going onto the fuselage. Fuselage halves going together with the cockpit in. Engines going on. Landing gear going on. And there's of course a little wheels, extra flappy, guffy bits, combing and sights and whatever in IP going on. Canopy going on. Does apparently come with a pilot, although in 172 may well leave him out. And then tail planes and a few more little farty bits going on. And a sprue map. Really, that's all there is to it. But 172 plane, you tend not to get many parts. So let's have a look at said parts. There's 3 sprues, this being the first. Open it up from this end. I won't open it up with a paintbrush, we'll try using a knife, that might actually work. Again, typical of Hobbyboss or Trumpeter, individually bagged. Check the parts, again, yeah, quick check, has nothing come off the sprue. This is the underside of the fuselage, wheels, cockpit tub, pilot, undercarriage, a few other little bits and pieces. There's a couple of the, 3 of the little paw stubs to come off of it. Let's have a look. Oh, not good. Spotted something I don't like straight away. Not only is there basically no detail, well, there is no detail in the cockpit tub, there's a couple of ejector pin marks inside it, which is not, I think there's decals to cover those, so a quick fill job and we'll be okay. And then, so looking from this, you can see the pilot doesn't actually look too bad for 172. It actually looks vaguely like a human being. And all the other little bits appear to be in good order. Oh, smacking into the camera, I do apologise. Instrument panel again is completely bare. There's no detail on that whatsoever, so that will need the decal on it unless you really want to try and scratch build it in 172. And then we have on the lower part of the fuselage, not overdone panel lines. They're not underdone either. They should pick out and wash quite nicely. So once we've cleaned up these few little, I think that's paw stubs or something like that. Something to do with the moulding process anyway. Yeah, I mean there's a bit of flash on the pilot, but there always is. They're never perfectly moulded and clean. Second sprue. And you're probably going to be going, yep, that's why there's not a lot to this kit. So we have the ejection seat, landing gear, pitot, various greeblies sticking out of the antenna, aerials, whichever they are, and the main fuselage top section. So if we bring it in a bit closer, you can see the, let's see how close we can get away with. Is that in focus? I can't tell. But you've got the ejector seat, doesn't look too bad for 172. Got the same kind of panel lining and everything going across the top of the fuselage. I'll try not to smack the camera again sharp. Which looks all very nice, and the landing gear and the piddly little parts. Yes, the pitot tube is overscaled, but it's going to be at this scale. In plastic, you'd never mould that in accurate. And all the rest of the bits. Light cable getting in the way now. And we can see the gear bay doors. I shall have a quick look-see underneath to see if there's any nasty. Well, they managed to keep the ejector pin marks off the inside of the gear bay doors, unlike the inside of the cockpit. There's a little bit of burring and flash on the round parts, like the undercarriage legs, but it's that sort of 6-year-old tooling, so it's kind of expected. And yeah, yes, we've got ejector marks all over the inside of the fuselage, but you'll never ever see them. And the same, except we've got 4 of the little bumps, and that one's going to be a pig to get rid of. May have to break out the special mini sander that I built. Say built, stuck a couple of bits together, but that's exactly the kind of job I did it for. And that's not as tight a gap as Jessica Rabbit's cleavage was either. So pop that back in the bag. And on to the third and final sprue, which is your wings, tail planes. I'm smacking this camera around quite a lot today, I do apologise. It's early. This Wookie doesn't like early mornings despite being an insomniac. Again, as always, I check the bag to make sure nothing's fallen off, although I'm putting the screws back in their bags. So here we have all the main control parts, the nose cone, engines, and various other little greebly bits that stick on God knows where. But we hold up again, we can see we've got the similar panel lining on the wings, all very nice. That carries over onto the, I never know what they are, vertical stabilisers, horizontal stabilisers, canards, canapes, canned apes, whatever you want to call them, and I think they're the tail fins. The nose cone nicely moulded. I guess the shape is accurate, I can't really tell because I've never seen the plane, and to be honest, I'm not overly bothered by it. And the engine nozzles, again, well moulded, enough detail, they'll look nice when they're painted. As you can see, the engine nozzles and the thing. There is interior kind of fan thing to block them off. It doesn't look overly nice, but to me, I don't sit there looking up the intakes and exhausts of my models. So I'm not hugely fussed whether they look amazingly pretty inside or whether they're seamless, as long as there's nothing glaringly nasty in there. Now, let's go with the clear parts. Oop, running out of cutting mat. Just the three. The cockpit doesn't appear to have any centre seams on it. There might be a very slight one there. Let's get something to see if we can read through it. Where do I put the instructions? That's probably the best thing to look through, isn't it? There we go. And yes, we've got some lensing as you go around the curves, but it's clear enough, and given the lack of detail inside, you probably don't want the most visible canopy. So the not railings, framing, that's the word. Canopy framing looks, well defined, not overly deep or large, but nice enough that you can mask it quite well without too much hassle. And all the bits that are supposed to be left unmasked are kind of frosted or foggy. Even better, so you can just look at it and see which bits need to be masked. And I reckon that'll probably take me about 5 minutes. And we've got a landing light as well, but landing light, schmanding light. As long as you remember to paint behind it silver, put some mask over it, and remember to take the mask off at the end. There's not really a lot else to say about those. Then, last but not least, is the decal sheet. This is going to be interesting to see what the cockpit's going to look like, because they look fairly bland. So we shall see. Again, same with the Dana decals in a bag, grease proof taped over them. You have to be a little careful when you cut the tape that you don't slice the decals that are underneath. It's also a good idea to remove the tape from the back of the decal paper as well before you use them. Now, yeah, I don't feel thick, although there's a sensible carrier film around them. Excuse me snuffling. Everything appears lined up properly and in register. That cockpit's not going to look great though, because those decals are just black and white. I will lift it up so you can have a closer look. As you can see, the 3 cockpit interior decals, they are numbers 6, 10 and 11. Fairly lacking in detail, but again, 172, how much of it is going to be visible? But you see the rest of them all nice. Yes, glossy again, but as we say, there's going to be a gloss coat put over them anyway, so before we do any weathering, so does it really matter too much if the decals are glossy or flat? I don't know. I've not noticed anything, but then I suck at decals, so there we go. So let's put the box lid back in shot. Looks a bit prettier than just a manky old cutting mat and piece of cardboard. So there we go. And that's taken a bit longer than I thought it would. I must have rambled a bit. The Hobbyboss 172nd SU47 Bearcat Golden Eagle. Yeah. Other than a extremely dull cockpit interior, although that looks like it might be a tinted canopy, so I might see if we can tint that and therefore make it not look quite so bland. But yeah, whoever it was who asked me, there you go, no problems. Have a good day, build something, even just browse models. Just enjoy your hobby and have fun. Laters, peeps.